everyone, and welcome to Off the Wall. My name is Sol, and today I'll be doing a spoiler review of Pixar's new movie, Elemental. Remember to like and subscribe for more movie reviews. This movie is very cute and, like all Pixar movies, finds a way to hit you in the feels. It is ultimately an immigrant story, a love story, and a story of acceptance. The movie opens up with Bernie and a pregnant Cinder Lumen immigrating to Elemental City due to a natural disaster that happened in the Fire Kingdom. When Bernie and Cinder arrive, you see the city filled with water people, earth people, and air people, but you don't really see many fire people around. Even when they arrive, the person checking them into the city can't understand their language and changes their names to Bernie and Cinder to make things easier for documentation. This is something that happened in the real world when people immigrated to the US through Ellis Island. When Bernie and Cinder try to find a place to live, they're discriminated against and they eventually find a dilapidated house outside of the city to buy. Again, echoing real life. Their daughter Ember is born, and you get a montage of her growing up and the family creating a store and more fire people living around the area of that house/store, and Bernie and Cinder fixing it up. Right off the back, you're getting a compelling story with the fire people, and it honestly was the most interesting part of the movie. Every time you come back to Ember and her parents and her community, you're drawn to the story. Ember's one goal in life, speaking of Ember, is to be good enough to one day run the family store and for her father to retire and relax because he's getting older and has this cough that just won't go away. Ember is great at helping her dad in the store, making fire snacks, delivering packages in record time, etc. The only thing she isn't good at is controlling her temper. Anytime a customer acts like customers do, anyone who's ever worked retail knows what I'm talking about. She literally combusts and things around her catch on fire. One day, the pipes, which should not be working in fire part of town because water and fire do not mix, starts to leak. She has a combustible meltdown. Fire everywhere. That's where Wade Ripple comes in. He's a water person who got sucked through the pipes, and he's also an inspector for the city. And while profusely crying, decides to write up several citations that can shut the store down. He leaves to turn the citations in, and Ember chases after him, but she just misses him when he actually gets them into the city hall. And after he turns them in, he overhears Ember speaking about her father's sacrifices and tries to help her get the citations overturned, even though it's his fault in the first place. So here's where you get the main plot of the movie: try to save the store from getting shut down. I have to be honest, Wade's introduction to the story, even though it's what ultimately gets the main plot going, was the first moment of the movie that kind of lost me. Here's this guy who's crying constantly and being so lawful good that he wrote up 30 citations on Ember's family store that he was kind of annoying. There are moments in the movie where he has some profound lines and is very sweet, and you can see why Ember falls in love with him later down the line, but that doesn't stop him from being an annoying character. The way that the plot just not making full sense or not really feeling well written. Ember and Wade are able to convince Wade's employer, Gail Cumulus, that if they're able to find the source of the leak, she'll pretend like the citations never existed. And that's what the rest of the movie really comes out to be, is them trying to solve this mystery leak and save the store. Parts with Ember's family and community are my favorite. You get a story about when Ember was little and she and her father weren't allowed to see a flower exhibit because there was a sign that said fire not allowed. You see the hatred that her father and other fire people have for the rest of the elements, the way that they treat the fire people, especially water. And you get to see the struggle of first generation kid trying to navigate her world and either do what her family wants and expects of her, or to go out and do her own thing and live out her own dreams. This Pixar movie has some heavy topics. Also, as I said before, this is a love story, and you see Ember and Wade fall in love, get a cute date montage, and the two of them learn about each other's worlds. It's a little Romeo and Juliet esque. She keeps it secret from her family because they will not accept it. His family really likes Ember, but they're also a bunch of criers too. Like, there's a lot of crying in this movie. All this crying on screen is just Wade and his family, and it definitely gets annoying, and you see that character flaws definitely come from his family. There was also a scene on screen where his family tells Ember that she speaks so well and without an accent, and she answers with, "Funny how that I'd be able to do that when I speak the language my entire life." I legitimately laughed out loud at this part. For me, when I was moving to a new school, I was put into an ESL class, English as a second language, and they assumed I couldn't speak English because of my name. So I related to Ember in that moment, going, yeah, just because of a name or a look doesn't mean I can't speak the language. Now, the Romeo and Juliet part really comes into play when you believe that Wade dies. The shop gets overrun with water and he saves Ember from being distinguished, but they end up in an enclosed room and the temperature gets hot enough that he evaporates. But just like the water cycle, he comes back, and he comes back by crying. So all this crying, I guess, had something good with the plot. There's water droplets on the ceiling, and Ember makes him cry so much that he creates enough water to come back to life. I'm not shitting you, that is actually what happens. By the end of the movie, the father accepts Ember and Wade's relationship. He retires and gives his shop to another set of fire people, and Ember leaves town with Wade to follow her dreams, and everyone's pretty much happy. You even get a really heartfelt moment between Ember and her father at the end that almost had a tear in my eye, but I'm not like Wade and his family. All in all, the movie is really cute. It has some really heavy topics. The animation is beautiful. The scene underwater with the flower was magnificent, like just chef's kiss. It's a serviceable story, even if it's set up a little bit weird. Fire people part of the story, so good. The Wade introduction, weird, but it is what it is. So by the end of this movie, I liked it. It was cute. The annoying parts don't really take away from the movie too much. All in all, decent movie. It's definitely not Pixar's best, but it's not Pixar's worst. I'm Sol. This has been Off the Wall. And remember to like and subscribe for more movie reviews and check out all of our reviews we have out right now: The Flash, Transformers, and Across the Spider-Verse. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.